Doing okay. I mean, it's hard. You got two guys out, so you're looking to develop the guys that are here and trying to get them to play off of one another and learn to be better teammates. But Willie and Trey being out, makes it hard to say let's work on chemistry and all those things when two pretty good players aren't playing.
Even without those guys, are you having the high level practices that you thought you were going to have last year? Maybe?
Because when you look at it, and Dominic and Derek didn't shoot the ball well yesterday. Two days ago he did shoot the ball well, but Dominic will compete, and so the levels of practice are high. We're not going 2 hours or less than 2 hours. I'm not trying to kill them. I got a little bit more aggressive with them yesterday, but.
What about Tyler makes him able to play at that size against guys who are so much bigger than him?
Well, he's figured out he's got to pick up full court, so the guy doesn't just get him into a ball screen or get him down in the lane. He controls what's happening. It's what happened to us against Connecticut, where they got up on us, so we didn't get a running start. The second thing is he has a great feel for who's open, and he delivers the ball to those guys. Yet he can score a little bit, so I don't see his size being a factor, but I imagine it will at some point, but I just haven't seen it to this point, and he's playing against huge guards right now.
Now, when Aaron and Andrew decided to come back, what did you want them to get out of the summer, out of the offseason, and what, have they done what you wanted?
Well, the conversation we had, which was if you put your name in the draft, I'm going to do everything I can to get you drafted in the best position possible. And if you come back, there's questions that you have to answer, questions that they're saying, what are the questions they have? And they went 1, 2, 3, and I said, okay, then you got to answer those questions, and that's what we're going to do. And so you're not coming back here just because it's the easiest thing. It may be the hardest thing for you to do. So those were between us sitting in that room, and but they knew them. I mean, it's pretty obvious if you've watched their questions that the people had of them and the next level had of them, and they got to prove those wrong.
What's different about them already to you?
Well, they've lost weight, so they're more athletic and they're playing faster. They're able to sustain. The other thing is they already know what we're trying to do. There's no anxiety. I mean, they're comfortable out in the court, where last year they were trying to figure themselves out, and that's why you had that body language stuff. You don't see any of that this year, and the only time they do anything like that is toward each other, like where they're saying something to each other. Short of that, it's been pretty good. And the competition makes it so that you got to be on point. Whether it's Tyler, Devin, I mean, they can play. And then you got Dominic, and then there's times we're putting Derek Willis at a guard. So all of a sudden, you're coming every day. You got to bring it.
What's the value of practicing at this high level this early, and then going and playing 6 games against pretty high level competition before most teams are really getting into practice?
Well, let's talk about the downside. It just makes our season really long. Part of what we'll probably do down there is I probably won't coach every game. I'll let the assistants coach some of the games. I don't want them, like right now, I'm coaching through the whole practice. I got 10 days with them, and I'm trying to get them. I need the freshmen to know what I'm like to a degree. Like I said, right now everybody's happy-go-lucky. Well, we get ready to play some games, it'll be a little different, but at least they get the idea of what they're going to be held accountable for. But we get down there, we're going 6 games in 8 days against professional players, which means we probably shouldn't win any of the games. And I don't want it to be about winning and losing right now. I want it to be about development. Are we getting better? Are we learning how to play off of one another? When adversity hits, how do we deal with it? All those kind of things. We're just trying to learn, and that's what I want to use the experience for. But it extends our season now. And we're playing, in most cases, we're playing till April. So you're talking a season that just went another, you know.
Okay. You've been pretty upfront in previous years about saying your teams are best when it's 8 or 7, 8, 9 guys out there with as many options as you have. How much do you stay up at night thinking about how you're going to get all these guys time?
I worry about developing individual players. How do we get each one of these guys better? How do we put them in the best position to be the best version of them? We're figuring it out right now. Some guys are playing better at the front court. Some guys you can move to that swing position. Some guys you move them to the swing. They're not doing as well. So they have to get in this gym. I mean, we're right now, you got guys at 11 o'clock at night. You got 4 or 5 guys in here. And so they're, you know, the guys that have watched the practice, and 1 or 2 of you that know anything about basketball, when you watch it, didn't get that?
I'm surprised you said 2 or 3.
I said 1 or 2. That you'll see that they're not backing down from each other. The young guys are competing. The older guys are coming. They're not getting bogged down in one play. They know they're going up and down. Issue right now, we got no subs. So when we go 2 hours, it's fully a 2-hour practice. I'm not doing much on defense. I'm just trying to get them offensively, trying to create a good shot each time down the court, trying to get them to play off of one another. We're doing a little defense. We'll do some pressing, but probably not as much as I wanted to do during this time. But it's been good. I mean, again, these young men come here because they want to be developed as players. And as you develop them, they want to be on a team that they enjoy playing with, and then they want to win. But let me explain. That's the order. And the other way around. We can all think that's what, you know. And so our job, and we stay focused on it. I don't get off point. Process takes time, and but I think they're doing pretty good right now. I mean, I wish Trey and Willie were playing, but they're not, and that gives us a chance to really get other guys a really good look and gets them to go. But at the end of the day, those two are going to be a big part of what we do.
Carl and Carl have had a couple of those battles we talked about in practice, just going right at each other back and forth. What do you have in those two big guys?
Well, Dakari's lost weight, and he sees a challenge, and he's going for it. And Carl's way better than I thought when I saw him in high school. I mean, I coached him a little bit, but he never got in games, and it was mostly practices, and we were playing so many games. He really didn't, you know, he really didn't do that much with the national team. So in high school, you saw him, and you know, whoa, you know, he's got a ways to go now. And what I'm seeing right now is a very active player that's skilled and runs better than I ever thought he'd run. And that's now without really getting into the season and doing anything. So Dakari's lost weight. He's running better than he's ever run in his life. And but it's great because every time either one of them backs up, they get scored on or they get rebounded on. Like you're learning that every possession matters, and you cannot give up on a possession until either they get the ball or you get the ball. They're learning right now. You stop playing, the guy you're guarding can probably score. He'll go back door, he'll move to an area, you can shoot it. And that includes the guards now. They stop playing, they get scored on. And so it's that's what has made this, you know, pretty good. But let me say, and we want to talk about the 10 practices. These guys have played pickup before. You know, when I was out, they were playing every day. Now, I haven't had many teams in my time that would call each other together because one guy wanted to do his own thing and another dude was a goofball, and these three were serious about it, and they were mad at this guy, and they just, These guys play just about every day they can play. Now they're not because they're running up and down for 2 hours. But prior to this, they were playing. And then you don't have to do as much conditioning. You don't have to do as much of the 2 hours a week. As long as you're getting up and down the court and playing, it's a good thing.
John, how do you balance the extra work, as you say, and how much they want to play with the idea of a extra long season?
Well, that's why we're going to 2 platoon. You know, there may be one game that I'll play 8 or 9 guys, but short of that, we're going to 5 guys in, 5 guys out, switch rotations, do all those things. And again, I'm going to let the assistants coach many of the games, mainly because I don't think we can win those games. So,
Let them take the L.
yeah, you know what happens to these guys, whether we win or lose, they're hungry after the game. I'm taking an L on national television, see how hungry they are then. Trying to teach them.
Now, because of all the playing that you're doing in the practice, are you teaching at a higher level or able to implement more?
Now, the biggest thing is I get guys that understand so I can do it the way I used to coach, which is get to the back and watch what they're doing. I talk them through, you're not at the front, you're at the back and watch what they're doing. And many of the things they're talking each other through, Dakari's talking, the twins are talking, Alex is talking, Marcus is talking. They're able to talk to each other because they know what to say. You know, people came into our gym last year. We have 8 new players that are all freshmen. Was it 8?
Yep. 9.
9, and well, no one talks. They didn't know what to say. They have no idea what to say or what was going on. You know, there were times they're like, hey, 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 and I'd stop. What does that mean? Like when you say, hey, what am I supposed to do? I mean, now you got guys that are back a year. They have a better idea. They're more comfortable, and they're challenged. I mean, this team has a fight. They did last year. And, you know, majority of the guys are back, so that fight hasn't changed.
When you talked about platoon things you like to do, are there any combinations or experiments that you like to?
We may. We're scrimmaging today, so I'm gonna try different combinations today just to feel them out. Now, the only reason I didn't want to do that is because it will put us behind of what I'm trying to do. But I'm like, you know, we're gonna do some things today, and then these 5 are gonna play these 5, and then we're gonna jumble them. And then we're gonna jumble them again. And we may jumble them one more time. Play 6-minute, you know, periods or segments and let them play that way and see what it looks like. You know, there's all kind of things you can do. You can play 7 guys in a rotation and then have the bomb squad come in, 5 guys come in for 5 straight minutes. And you rotate those other guys 7 minutes, and I mean, there's all kind of things we can do. At the end of the day, you want to win. Yet early on in the season, it's more important that you learn. Okay, what exactly are these guys? This isn't normal, and I come back to, this isn't cow ball. This is how we're going to play every year. We don't know how we're going to play every year. Why is that? See? I got different players every year and different strengths and different weaknesses. If I try to play a certain way and it's detrimental to the players, but it's for me and my way, I mean, we don't know. I mean, I like to press more, but we start pressing and it doesn't look good and it doesn't fit this team, then we won't. I mean, we've been working on zone right now. You know, Tony's been talking to me about zone. It's be a great zone team. As soon as they make a 3, we're out of the zone. I'm just telling you, I know that.
You have a different relationship with the Twins than you did last year. It seems like maybe there's a little more give and take, certainly more understanding there, where they're not fighting.
No, I mean, they had habits that they had to understand that weren't going to work. Let me tell you something. If you're doing something your whole career and it gets you a scholarship to Kentucky, the most coveted scholarship in the country, just give me an offer so I can publicly tweet that I got that offer. And you did certain things to get you that offer and get you that scholarship. And now you're thinking, well, now I'm going to change? No, your first thought is, this got me here, I'm going to go with it. But what got you here, a lot of times, isn't going to get you there, that next level. And I'm talking about as a player, to be a better version of yourself. What got you here may not work to get you there. You know why? Because you're 7 foot tall and the dude playing against you was a non-athletic 6'3" kid that just held you. Well, you're not playing against 6'3" unathletic dude. Now the guy against you is 7 foot. Or you're a guard and everyone on the floor was a guard. You jump center sometimes. Well, guess what? That's not what this looks like. So what got you here may not get you there. And that's the case with the Twins. I mean, I just think that they needed me to give them better direction. They needed me to basically better define their roles. But why do you think I had to wait so long? Why did it take me so long? Why didn't I walk in the first day and say, this is how you're going to play? Basketball bennies, what do you think? Why didn't I do it from the day I walked in? Wasn't sure. Now, I could make it about me and say, you're going to play this way, or I could watch them play and say, the best thing now that I've been with you for 2 months, the best way for you to play and us to play is this. And it took me 2.5 months. They weren't here in the summer. By not being here in the summer, they got behind the 8 ball conditioning-wise. So it took us half a year to get them in condition so we could really see, all right, what exactly can they do?
Last question, James Young was saying he thought Alex could be a guy who could be a little more perimeter oriented, that he sort of filled that role this year. How has he come along in that?
He's done okay, but so is Derek. We still haven't seen Trey in that role. I mean, we can play like we did with Michael Kidd as a 3, and you play with a bigger 3 who's more of a post-up rebounder, slasher, shot blocker. We've done it. I mean, and why'd we do it? Because it was the best thing for him and the best thing for our team. So then again, do you play with a smaller shooting player at the 3? We don't know yet. I mean, that's why we're going on this trip, and that's why I'm teasing you about the coaching. I do want to step back and evaluate, and it's hard to evaluate when you're trying to coach through. It's hard to take a bigger picture and a bigger vision of what we're trying to do. But I'll say it again. You know, you're talking 3 professional teams with guys, some of them as old as 37, 38 years old. I think, I coached that one team, and I think, but I don't know exactly. And then you have the French team with, you know, professional players, and they say that the Puerto Rican team, well, their national team, well, those 12 are professionals too. So they're not 19. I mean, they're older kids too. So, and then it's on national television. Okay, so now Jay Billis is doing the game with Jay Will and whoever else is doing it, Neil, and who knows how these guys are going to react? Who knows? I mean, but it'll be neat. It's you know, the last time we did this, we went to Canada, and we didn't. I think it was like, man, I hope this team stinks because we do. And so it was a totally, you know, and most people take these trips for one reason, to get 10 days of practice in. They do it, and then they go play teams they know they're good enough to beat, and they go beat those teams by 50, and they come back and they use the 10 practice days. I think this team needed something a little different, and that's why we're doing this. And I'm not sure anybody's done what we're doing before. I think it's the first time anybody, Jerry, you can check, but I don't think anybody's done this where they're flying in a bunch of professional teams to play this and to come after us.
Were you surprised to see John Wall cut by Team USA?
Disappointed, and I thought he played well the games I watched, but again, it was a numbers game. I'm happy for DeMarcus, I'm happy for Anthony, and Derrick Rose, woof. I mean, he's back to, he was doing things there like, I sat through those things before, and I saw him again, and that's what I told him. I was just so proud of him. And John, I mean, John, they did their thing, and look, I tried to tell DeMarcus this and even John. The team to make is in 16. 16. Those 2 are in their prime. I mean, you're going to be talking about 2, hopefully both of them 2-year All-Stars now. Totally different approach. The 16 team is the team. It's nice that they went out and practiced and tried out. And, hey, great pickup games. Whew. Unbelievable pickup games for those guys for those 2 weeks. But the reality of it is that 16 team's the one you want to be playing on and striving for that. And I think they handled themselves with class. So did Bradley Beal. I spent some time with him. Asked him if he'd ever beat Kentucky, and we talked a little bit. And, I mean, there were guys that didn't make the team that are really, really good, and in 2 years will have another chance to make it. Okay?